Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I would like to say thank you for coming to my presentation. It's great to see you all, even though we are at home and can't meet in person because of this pandemic. Keep health protocols and stay safe so we can meet again. Let me start by saying just a few words about my own background. My name is HafidhAl'Fathan Wijaya. I am a student of management at HafidhAl'Fathan University. So, this morning, I'm going to discuss about the prospect of the coffee business in Indonesia. My first point will talk about coffee commodities in the world. Then, I'll move on to coffee commodities in Indonesia. After that, I will discuss about the future prospect of Indonesian coffees. And then, I will explain my business plan. My presentation will take about 10 minutes. Okay, anybody know about coffee? As we know, coffee is an important type of beverage for most people around the world, not only because of the enjoyment of coffee drinkers, but also because of the economic value for countries that produce and export coffee beans, such as Indonesia. To some, this product made from the roasted beans of the coffee plants, a flowering plant of the Rubicaceae family, is referred to as the second most legally traded commodities in human history. So, I will start discussing about coffee commodities in the world. As you can see in the picture, the coffee sold in the world is usually a combination of roasted bean from two varieties of the coffee trees, Arabica and Robusta. The difference between these two varieties mainly lies in their taste and caffeine levels. Arabica beans, which are more expensive on the world market, have a milder taste and have 17% lower caffeine than Robusta beans. Did you know that subtropical and tropical regions are good locations for coffee cultivation? Therefore, the countries that dominate the world coffee production are in South America, Africa, and Southeast Asia. Okay, then coffee is a commodity that is traded on Commodity and Future Exchange, most importantly in London and New York. You can see here are two tables that indicate the world 5 major coffee production countries and the world top 5 coffee exporting countries. In table 1, 5 large coffee producing countries in the world from session 2018 to 2019. Number 1, Brazil with 15.5 million, to Vietnam 25 million, number 2 Colombia 14 million, and number 4 Indonesia 11 million, and last number 5 Ethiopia 6 million. 5 large coffee exporting countries in the world in the 2018 to 2019 season. Number 1 Brazil again 24 million, number 2 Vietnam 23 million, and Colombia 12 million, and number 4 Indonesia 6 million, number 5 Honduras 5 million. So that's my discussion about coffee commodities in Indonesia. Is there anything you want to ask before I move on to the second topic? If there are no questions, I will continue to the next topic. Okay, let me now turn to the topic of coffee in Indonesia. Indonesia, one of the largest coffee production and exporting countries in the world, most of its production in the Robusta varieties. Indonesia is also famous for having a number of specialty coffees such as black coffee, known as the most expensive coffee in the world. In terms of agricultural commodities, coffee is the fourth largest foreign exchange earner for Indonesia after palm oil, rubber, and cocoa. I will tell you a brief story of coffee entering Indonesia. So, coffee was introduced to the Indonesia by the Dutch, who initially planted coffee trees around their territory in Batavia, but then quickly expand coffee production to the Bogor and Sukabumi areas of West Java. Indonesia proved to have an almost ideal climate for coffee production, and so plantations were soon established in other areas of Java, Sumatra, and Sulawesi. You need to know, currently Indonesian coffee plantations cover total area of approximately 1.24 million hectares, 133 hectares of Robusta, and 307 hectares of Arabica. More than 19% of the total plantation are cultivated by small-scale farmers who own relatively small plantations of about 1 and 2 hectares each. It's in contrast to competitors such as Vietnam, Indonesia doesn't have large coffee plantations and therefore find it more difficult to maintain stable production volumes and quality. So, the competitiveness of Indonesian coffee in the international market is less strong. Next, I will show the province that contribute the most to coffee production in Indonesia. As you can see in the picture, the first province that produces Robusta is Sumatra, which is zone number 1. Then there is South Sulawesi and followed by Sumatra at number 3. Province that produce Arabica coffee only in Aceh and North Sumatra. Next, I will tell you about coffee production in Indonesia. Starting from the 1916, Indonesia has shown a small but steady increase in the world coffee production. However, according to the data from the Central Statistics Agency, the area of coffee plantation in Indonesia is declining as farmers have shifted their production focus to palm oil, such as palm oil and palm kernel oil, rubber, and therefore coffee plantation or part of the plantation have been transformed into plantation of other commodities. In 2016, approximately 17% of Indonesian total annual coffee bean production was export, mainly to customers in Japan, South Africa, Western Europe, and the United States. However, as Indonesia's domestic coffee consumption has grown, export has declined. Coffee consumption in Indonesia increased with a compound annual growth rate of 7.7% in 2017 to 2018, still at 1.0 kilogram. Next, I will show the data on coffee production and export in Indonesia. Production and export Indonesia. Production in 1,000 tons. In 2016, production is 712, export 318, export in billion US dollar 1.03 billion US dollar. In 2017, production 515, export 315, export 1.19 billion US dollar. In 2018, production 664, export 400, and export 1.36 billion US dollar. In 2019, production is 669, export 420, export 1.14 billion US dollar. And 2020 production in 1,000 tons is 617 for export 417 and export 1.165 billion US dollar. Okay, next I will show the data on domestic coffee consumption in Indonesia. Domestic consumption of coffee in Indonesia. National consumption. In 2014, national consumption is 3,300. 2015, 3,518. In 2016, 4,014. In 2017 is 4,100. In 2018 is 4,300. In 2019 is 4,500. In 2020 is 4,600. Based on this table, production, export, and domestic consumption in Indonesia are increasing every year. Okay, that was my discussion about domestic production, export, and consumption of Indonesian coffees. Is there anything unclear or something you want to ask? Okay, if no one asks, before move on to the next topic, I'll tell you about the special coffee in Indonesia. In addition to producing regular coffee, Indonesia also produces several specialty coffee. The most famous of these specialty coffees are coffee luwak, Toraja coffee, Aceh coffee, and Mandailing coffee. The first, luwak coffee, is probably the most famous type of coffee because it's known as the most expensive coffee in the world. This coffee is extracted from coffee beans that have passed through the digestive system of the Asian cave, or in Indonesian, luwak. Due to the specialty fermentation process in the animal stomachs, this coffee is believed to have a richer taste. The production process, which requires a lot of labor and scarcity in the international market, causes the prices to be expensive. And finally, I will discuss the future prospect of coffee in Indonesia. According to data from the Indonesian Coffee Exporters Association, Indonesia farmers, together with a relevant ministries, plan to expand Indonesia coffee's plantation while rejuvenating our plantation through an investigation program, while increasing the plantation area. Indonesian coffee production in the next 10 years is targeted to reach between 300,000 tons to 1.2 million tons a year. Due to increasing global and domestic demand, investment is needed in the coffee sector in this country. In addition to increasing the quantity of coffee beans, quality is also predicted to increase due to technological innovation. However, Indonesia's coffee production per hectare is still low compared to the major coffee production countries. In 2016, Indonesia produced 741 kg of Robusta beans per hectare and 808 kg of Arabica beans per hectare. In Vietnam, this figure reaches 1,500 kg per hectare. In Brazil, it reaches 2,000 kg per hectare. Well, this brings me to the end of presentation, and I will explain my business plan. But let me go through the key points again. First, we look at Indonesia is one of the 5 large coffee production and exporting countries in the world. And we saw that domestic consumption of coffee in Indonesia is increasing every year. Plus, Indonesia has the most expensive type of coffee in the world, namely luwak coffee. What I discussed earlier, Indonesia needs investors to increase coffee production in Indonesia. Based on the data above, this is the right time if you want to invest in the coffee sector because if the quality of our coffee is getting better. Surely, many countries will want to buy coffee from us, and Indonesia will become the number one of coffee distributor in the world. And then I have a coffee business idea. You could say the coffee business is a business opportunity that must be looked at by potential investor in 2021, not only from the value of the investment, which is quite affordable, but also the taste of quality coffees. And here is the concept of coffee to go. So this is a coffee selling concept with a simple shop where buyers generally buy coffee to take as a travel companion or takeaway. The business location for this coffee business have potential such as crowded places like malls, airport station, roadside, and also mobile food trucks, which of course can attract more customers. I offer my coffee business with a relatively small investment value when compared to other coffee shops, only with a capital of 75 million rupiah. Potential investor or coffee lover can open this business with a fairly easy work system and affordable initial capital. Of course, this makes it easier for investors to run this business even for those who are not experienced in the entrepreneurial world. Because my coffee business has been supported by an experienced team. Okay, if anyone has question or is interested in investing in my coffee business, please contact my email at copyraju@gmail.com. Maybe that's enough presentation for me. I hope you will have gained an insight into coffee. Thank you for coming to my presentation. I apologize if there are mistakes. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.